CV8 Acura V2 inline muzzle loader. Okay, now I know a lot of you are throwing up right now. Some of you are, okay, and you're just, oh my gosh, Hickok has lost it. Well, a little bit. I've had requests to review an inline muzzleloader. Not thousands of them, but I've had some requests to do it. And the last time I got it, this has been, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 months ago maybe, it hit me. You know, I'm a traditionalist. You know, my favorite firearms are a Colt single action or a muzzleloader, lever guns, and that kind of thing. Even though I like the modern guns too. It hit me. Yeah, maybe we ought to do that. You know, it was just like something fell out of the sky and hit me, because it was something I would have never dreamed of doing. You know, I would never dreamed of even owning one, certainly, even having one on the property. And I thought, well, wait a minute. We're not just doing my favorite firearms. We kind of get into things like the little Chiappa Rhino and whether it's a High Point, you know, other firearms that people just request a lot. So why are we just totally ignoring this? There are a large segment of viewers out there who hunt or going to hunt, even though I don't hunt. A lot of people of you, maybe you're, I don't know, 15, 16, 60, I don't know, and you're thinking about getting into hunting, and the idea of a muzzleloader appeals to you, but not necessarily a Hawken rifle, you know, or a Civil War rifle like you see here most of the time. And you want to get out there during the muzzleloading season. That's the advantage. You can hunt a little bit earlier, you know, than the regular rifle seasons. That's why they're popular. One reason they became popular. And then the same thing for bow hunting. You know, I think, I'm not an expert in this, you know, a hunter, but I think bow season opens first, and then they may even have a traditional bow season, then a compound bow season, I don't know, depending on where you live, and then the muzzleloading season and all that, and then finally you have the regular gun season. And that's why these are so popular. Okay, I know it's an abomination, you know, in a lot of ways. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you really cherish these old traditional muzzleloaders, you know, this thing just makes you want to throw up probably. All right. Now, I was surprised a little bit though, but it is an inline. First of all, let me show you why it's an inline. You put a cap right there. You can actually take the breech plug out. I may do that before we're finished, but you just open it up. These are the break action kind, and these are, a lot of the newer ones are like this. It makes it easier to load. You just pop put the cap right in there, and you close it up after you've loaded it from the muzzle, and you fire it, which I'm going to do in a minute. So it's called an inline. You know, I guess it's directly in line, you know, with all that. Instead of having a nipple up here and a hammer that falls on the nipple and shooting fire down into the chamber. So it's an inline muzzleloader. If someone says inline muzzleloader, this is what they're talking about. The various types of these. I heard it hit. Look at the smoke. Looks like black powder. And there's your primer. It got hit, of course. And I think it's safe. I think it's probably empty, because something hit that plate, that shoots some steel plate, right when I pulled the trigger. That tells me it came out of this barrel. All right. These are known for being pretty accurate, especially this one with this Bergara barrel. Although all these are fine barrels, which, you know, do just fine, whether the Optima or the Acura or any other brand of these things. Traditions, there's a lot of people that make these inline muzzle loaders, and with a scope, it makes it very, very similar to just hunting with a regular bolt action rifle. Let's see, what do we put in first, the powder or the bullet? I bet it'd be better if we put the powder in first. Yeah, look at this, jacketed plastic. I mean, I don't think Daniel Boone used anything like that. Or the Hawken brothers anticipated anything like this, right? That's all right. It's, again, you know, chime in if you can add insight, but these things became so popular because people, I think it was driven by the opportunity to get into the field sooner, a little bit earlier for deer hunting or whatever, elk hunting, whatever kind. And you could only do that with a muzzleloader, see? And again, I think I'm correct. The traditional muzzleloaders, shooters, like the Hawkins and those kinds of things. Those people, they were hunting already probably, and they, I guess, pressed their game departments in the various states and everything. Say, hey, wait a minute, we're hunting with a flintlock, you know, and we're out there trying to get the same deer or whatever in the field at the same time. People are coming in with scope-sighted 30-06s and everything. How about, so they kind of lobbied, I think, for getting into the field a week early or 2 weeks early or whatever it was. I believe that's how that started. Okay, we'll give you guys your own muzzle loading season, okay, a week early. Because, you know, you're hunting with a flintlock or a cap lock or something like that. Well, as we always tend to do, you know, it became an equipment race. Okay. So the manufacturers realize there's a hunting season and a lot of people are interested in it. They're putting scopes on Hawken rifles and things like that. So why don't we just build something like this? They're not as interested, maybe, some of these people, in the tradition or the traditional firearms. They just want to get out in the field and hunt early. They're deer hunters. You know, they're not necessarily even gun people, you know, or interested in history. And so let's make something for them. And that's kind of where I think these came from. All right, so I've got it loaded, even though I was talking. Yeah, I got her loaded and the bullet's seated. So let me find a primer up here. I'll put it in. As you can tell, I'm not going to get a lot of shooting in, but I just wanted to, unless y'all want to stay all night. All right, so she's ready to go. The hammer has a little spur on it that's reversible. It'll go on either side, right or left. So it is an ambidextrous rifle. There's no difference, you know, either way. Sight's ambidextrous and everything. You can use your right eye, your left eye. Well, you know what? I'm not going to shoot a lot, but how can we shoot this thing without hitting the gong?